Welcome back to the channel, guys. What I'm going to be doing today is a kit review on this rucksack right here, which is the Pathfinder Mark II from Kitpimp. So Kitpimp are a UK-based company. They approached me to do a review on this rucksack. Full transparency, I didn't pay for this pack, okay? But I will give a 100% honest review on my findings on this pack then. So not only did the company ask me to do a review on this, some of my followers did on different channels, things like on Facebook, on my Facebook page, and on Instagram as well. Now, what I will say is there was a bit of negative stuff going on about the company Kitpimp. I've not had any dealings, I've never bought any kit from them, I've never used any kit from them up until now, but there were some people putting some negative comments out there. Now, what I'll say is I'll always find as I see, okay? And what I will do is I'll give an honest review based on what my experience is with this bit of kit, okay? What I won't do is I won't take other people's experiences or other people's opinions and bias what I say. So what I'll do is I'll dive into the review and I'll tell you exactly how I found this bit of kit. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the specs of the kit, then I'm going to talk about the actual functions and features of the pack going from top to bottom, inside and out. Then I'm going to give my opinion on how the kit would be best used, and then finally I'll give pros and cons of the kit with a bit of a conclusion. So with that being said then, let's get into it. Construction of the pack then. The whole thing is made of 1000D nylon, which makes it pretty damn durable, okay? It's made in two different colour options, so it's made in this lovely olive green colour and also MTP. Overall capacity is 150 litres, so that's a lot of carrying capacity, okay? Dimensions then. So, not including the side pouches, but from left to right here, it's 42 centimetres going across. You can add another 30 centimetres for each side pouch, okay? So for around about 70 centimetres from left to right as you're looking now when it's fully packed out. Okay, the height of it then, not including the top pouch here, but from bottom to top, is about 53 centimetres is what I got it. Then you can add another, what, I don't know, 5 centimetres or so for the top part there as well. And then depth of the pack then, so from front to rear, is about 25 centimetres from there to there, and again that's not including the external pouches here and here, and again you can add a fair few centimetres on for those dimensions if you was going to include these pouches. Okay, the weight of the pack then is 5 kilos, so it's not a lightweight pack, and I'll be coming back to that more a bit later on. Costs of it then, as you see it here in olive green, is at £169.99, which is pretty damn good, really. And for the MTP version of this, it's £229.99. So pretty good value, really, depending on how it fares, and we'll go into that in a little bit. What I have heard then is the previous version of this, the Mark I version, had some quality control issues. This is the Mark II version. I've taken this out now for about 3.5 months. I've had this, and I've taken it out various times, out doing bushcrafting, on exercises. I've loaded it up with quite a bit of weight, up to about 65-70 pounds, and I haven't personally had any issues whatsoever with anything getting stressed on the material, no breakages, no holes appearing, no zips failing. So it looks like they've done what they've said with the kit and addressed the quality control on the pack. So let's have a look at the functions and features then. On this side of the pack then, running from top to bottom, what we've got then is on the very top of the pack here is a large admin pouch on the top, and on top of that then you've got the PLC style webbing on the top, so you've got two sort of wider parts to the strap there, and then these bits here. So you could use these ones for adding a strap to put some on the top there, like a, you know, like a poncho roll or something like that, a roll mat, something like that. Personally, it's not something I'd ever do, but it's there if you need it. You've also got a similar part here as well, so a wider section and 2 thinner sections, and the whole lid is floating. So if you have a look here, then there's 3 straps. Each of these have got Velcro keepers on. This can extend up, so you can actually extend the capacity of the main compartment of the pack. Or if you're putting a grab bag underneath here, if the main pack is already pretty much loaded out, then you can extend it up to make the grab bag more carryable underneath there. So this admin panel here then, this is pretty cool. So it's got 2 zips on it. They've got paracord pulls already attached, and the zips just glide. You know, I've not had any problems with any of the zips catching at any point on any like sewing or pieces of webbing or anything. They seem to be put together really well. So this opens up here, and check that out. So you've got some mega organisation in the top panel here. Now, some might see this as being a bit complicated, but if you want to organise your kit, this is amazing. Okay, so you've got 2 smaller mesh panels here, and then 1 larger panel here. These are all accessed by zip, so it's got a single zipper on there, and then you can grab your kit. Like in there, I've got like a little med kit. In this one here, these are great because you can put your smaller items in these ones. So I've got a head torch in there, my Puri tabs there, and some mozzie repellent there. And then in this bigger pouch, you can put larger items, obviously. And I've got like a big repair kit there of tape and zip ties and super glue and all sorts of patches and stuff. I've got my pouch that I keep on my waterproof stuff I need to keep waterproofed in there, like toilet paper and batteries and lighters and stuff like that. Obviously cordage is always great, but you know, you don't have to have bags inside these, but I like to keep my stuff kind of so it's not all just rattling around and open the zip and things fall out. But great way of organising your kit. And then on the top here, as you can see, what you've got is a whole load of basically Powell's webbing there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of Powell's webbing, and then interspersed in between those you've got bungee kind of Powell's. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of those as well. So with this then, you've got the option of either putting in items as I've done here. So they're slightly wider on this side, so you can put slightly wider things. So I've got a tourniquet in there and a folding saw. Then I've mollied on a survival knife there, couple of silooms and a spoon. But you could put anything in there you want. You could also put actual pouches on here as well. So one thing this might be really handy for is maybe putting a med pouch mollied on there, so when you open up your lid it's there ready to go. But quite an interesting feature there. I've not actually seen that on a rucksack before, so that's quite interesting. So looking at the front of the pack here then, the main lid is closed with 2 large buckles here, 40mm, and as you can see they've got the Velcro strap tidies on there to keep the straps nice and tidied away. And then at the top here what we've got is the basher pouch. Okay, nice big basher pouch there, then close to 2 25mm buckles. You'll notice here though that these haven't got the Velcro strap tidies on, which is a shame, but you know, it's easily sorted with a bit of tape. Okay, going into the basher pouch here, I'm going to stand the Bergen up so you can see this. You've got a single zip that opens up the basher pouch, and then a nice big opening for your basher there. Looking inside here then, what we've got is a Velcro closed section with a tab that just opens up like so, and then you've got a nice little compartment for your pegs, bungees, cords, whatever in there. So that's really cool. So that's the basher pouch. Below that then we've got the classic 3 pouch configuration there then. These are all not a nice size, so if I open up the centre one here, you've got the hood with a storm collar on it. That opens up there, and that's big enough for a normal 58-pound water bottle with a Crusader mug there. And obviously these mugs are quite wide with a quite wide rim on them, but these fit in there with no problems whatsoever. I'll just show you that there. It's not a squeeze to get that in, so that's a nice size. So these pouches, all these 3 at the bottom, these are all the same size. They'll fit in a jet boil, let's say a water bottle and mug, and in this one I've actually got a broken down 24-hour ration pack here. So lots of space here for organising your kit too. Just on the edges here on the sides then you've got a daisy chain piece of webbing. So this is good for just attaching things on, so you can put a carabiner through there to attach anything you needed to, or run a strap through. You can put like a roll mat lengthways, sort of vertically up the side of the Bergen, that sort of thing. And then as per standard, what you've got is the PLC type side pouches. Now these are great if you really need to extend the capacity of your pack, if you need to carry loads and loads of kit, but obviously these zip off. Now on this one then, on this type here, what we've got, if you've got compression straps running around the side there, and these basically come undone here at this point here, so they're stitched on here with this buckle. You can just undo that there dead quick, and then if you need to, you can unzip the side pouches like so, and they basically, there's secondary attachment points there just to make them a bit more secure, and you can just take them straight off. And for those of you that don't know, maybe people out in the States and places like that, you can actually make what we call rocket packs out of these. So you can attach a yoke to these fast X clips, and this can be a standalone little assault pack or day sack. I don't use these because you can't fit larger items like radios and stuff in it. I'd rather use a proper day sack. But anyway, these come off. Underneath here then, what we've got is a lovely arrangement here, okay? So you've got this mesh side panel here, and within the mesh side panel there's actually 3 strips of elasticated material. So if you want a stuff kit in here, say like a basher or something like that, or a hammock, you see how big that actually comes out. It's quite big, it actually comes out quite big, but when you're not using it, it just expands down again, which is, I've never seen that before. I've never seen bungee attached in within the mesh side pouch, which is a really good idea, I think, because personally I'd rather use these than the big rocket pouches, because these stick out a mile. So if you're going through trees and stuff, these catch on everything, whereas something like this is going to keep the kit more low profile. Okay, so these are really nice. In addition to this then, this is something else I've never seen before. There's a flat pocket running underneath this mesh panel, okay? So that's closed with a Velcro section, and you can put in something like a machete or a parang, as I've got it here, and that will just slide straight down into that panel there. So that will just slide straight in. So if you've got something relatively flat, you can whack that in, and the Velcro can close around the top end to stop it from kind of just wiggling around so much. So that's a really good feature. I've not actually seen that before. It's really nice. On the other side, it's exactly the same, okay? It's exactly the same. You've got the rocket pouch with the side compression straps. You can squidge that in a bit if needed. You can see how long these straps are though. What I would say is an improvement, what would be nice for this, instead of having these standard buckles on, if you put a fast X buckle on, you could just undo these quicker, and then you could have strap tidies on the end of these as well. So that's just one point for improvement for Kitpimp that I'm going to suggest to them. But anyway, same sort of stuff on this side. You've got the mesh side panel here with the flat pocket underneath, and you can see I've put an axe in this side one here, and it fits lovely. It's a fairly standard size kind of camp axe. That fits in there perfect. And what I've found that's really good is these straps here that attach onto the Bergen, sorry, the side pouches for additional security. You can actually put that over the head of the axe, and it will stop it wiggling around even more, so it gives it a bit more security there. So that's really nice. Okay then, so that's the front end of the pack completely covered. What I'll do is I'll go around to the back end now on the carriage system. Okay, you can probably see from the picture there then, there's some really good padding on this entire back system here, okay? Much more than what you find with, say, a PLC rucksack. And this is basically kind of like a pre-modded PLC. So you've got this really thick padding here, which does take a little bit of getting used to, but actually it's quite comfortable. What you've got here is a padded hip belt, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But this is completely removable, okay? So you can use this as it is here, or if you're using this rucksack in like a military mode where you don't really need the waist belt, all you're going to do is undo the buckles. There's like a tension and strap either side, okay? So undo those here and here, And then underneath here you've got a load of Velcro that you undo and you just whip that out, and that will just be completely gone. I'll show that in a minute. The shoulder straps then, so the shoulder straps are quite nice and comfortable, okay? They've got that kind of S shape to them as well. There's a sternum strap there. Now the sternum strap, what I will say about this is, for me, when I'm wearing this sternum strap, it's a bit high for me. It's kind of high up on my chest. I would have rather had the option, and I know that you can't move it because where this is sewn in, but I'd rather that was lower down personally. It's just one that I found for me. The sternum straps though, is a nice size, 25mm with webbing, with a strap tidier on it as well, which is always nice to keep the straps tidied away, as are the straps on the shoulder straps. Got the strap tidiers there, so that's good. At the top end of the shoulder straps then, we've got straps there, which is a bit unusual. They don't have the strap tidiers on. I've had to take them down, but what they've done is they've put elastics in there, so you can, once you've kind of tied them away, you can tuck them underneath, which is fine. But what I find is this will eventually stretch and your straps will just fall out, so you need to kind of tape them down before you tuck them away. But you've got a nice big grab handle here as well, okay? So at the top end of the shoulder straps you've got this handle here, and it's got, feels like a plastic insert inside there, so it's like a tubular thing, which is going to make it a lot more easy to grab and to actually, you know, haul up into a vehicle or whatever, especially seeing as this thing here could carry quite a lot of weight. On the bottom of the pack then, what I'll show now is the bottom here. What we've got is 2 drainage holes there then, and a drainage hole under each of the 3 pouches there, and there's also drainage holes on the side pouches as well. You've got another loop there on the bottom, and again that's actually for passing through HAPE straps for parachuting, for high altitude parachuting. And then underneath here then, what we've got at the very base of the pack on the front end is these little loops, okay? So you can use these for attaching things like axes or ice axes and stuff, looping them through and attaching them at the top. Or what you can do is what I've done here, you can pass through the main straps to close the pack, and then that adds tension on, instead of it being attached right at the top and it feels kind of loose. What this does is it adds some tension on, so you can actually really cinch it down. So that's the bottom of the pack covered there. Opening up the main top flap then, we're going into the main compartment. What we've got is 2 cord locks, so you've got one on the top here with a storm collar, and then one going around the circumference of the Bergen to cinch everything nice and tight, which is great. So then basically going in here, you've just got one big bucket to put all your gear in, okay? So I've got a hammock there, I've got my dry bag with all my warm kit, so I've got a warm jacket, a fleece, several pairs of socks in there. I've got a roll mat. Then I've got, just to show you, this is all just to show you what can be carried in here. I've got a Defence 4, Corinthian Defence 4 there, so that fits in sideways, and you know, that's not a small sleeping bag there, that fits in there sideways. And then looking inside, you've just got basically got a big bucket. There's no other extra frills inside here. There's no like internal organisation or anything like that. But to be honest, for a military style Bergen, that's the way to do it, is to keep it nice and simple. Okay, so we're in the rucksack then. You've got the waist belt here, which actually, it's nice and solid and comfortable, but you can probably notice it's sitting really high, and that's because this is a short back Bergen, and even for a short ass like myself, it means the waist belt's riding pretty high, okay? I think a longer back version of this would make that work better, which apparently Kitpimp are going to be working on. Also, if we show you this chest strap off, you see how high that is? Personally, I'd rather have that down about there, and even if I cinched it up higher, it's still not really at the optimal position for me anyway. But what I'll do is I'll just give you a 360 of the pack now then, so you notice how that's sitting on my back. I'll talk about that more in my conclusions. So that's all the features and functions of the pack covered there then. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk about how I see the pack being best used. Right then, so this thing gives you loads of carrying capacity. It's got loads of functions on it, it's got loads of areas to organise your kit, that sort of stuff. Now, for that side of it then, it's well designed for military use. However, what I would say is I haven't used this to the same sort of, taken this to the same punishment that a military pack has. I've taken this out quite a few times. I've loaded it up with 65, 70 pounds worth of gear, but I haven't tabbed for miles and miles with this thing. And I haven't, you know, thrown it in and out of trucks, in and out of armoured vehicles. I haven't parachuted with it. Military kit does take a lot of punishment. So even though it is well designed for military use, what I would say is I'm not 100%, I haven't 100% tested this under those sort of conditions yet. But what I would say this is really good, really well designed for, is for bushcraft use, okay? Especially in this nice plain green colour here, this olive green colour. This has got loads of capacity for just throwing kit in. It's got loads of space for organising all your kit. It's just fantastic for that. So I've used this loads on bushcraft weekends and all that. And the fact that the main compartment is so big and wide just makes it so much easier to get your stuff inside it, much more than a PLC Bergen. So personally, I think for this, potential use military, a little bit guarded on that comment, you know, depending on how well it stands up to the weight carriage and abuse, but definitely for bushcraft use and for just, you know, your average person going out in the woods, just enjoying nature, getting out there and camping, that sort of thing. What I'm going to cover now then are the pros and cons of this pack. So pros first. First pro I'm going to say about this pack then is the carrying capacity. So up to 150 litres, including the side pouches. This basically carries everything plus the kitchen sink. If you're someone that wants to make sure you're staying comfortable when you're out camping, hiking, bushcrafting, whatever, this is going to be able to carry everything you could ever possibly want. If you're overfilling this, you're basically carrying too much. And really, if you're filling it, you're possibly carrying a little bit too much. Second pro then is the cost. So this comes in at the moment, April 2025, at £169.99. That's pretty damn good for the size of rucksack you're getting and all the features and functions you're getting with this pack. It's really good, okay? Third pro then for this then is the amount of features that it packs in. You've got so many pockets and pouches on this pack. And like the top pouch that I covered earlier, it's just got all those functions and features and pockets all over the place. The pouches, those flat side panels, the mesh pouches, it's got mega loads of features in this pack, so that's a real pro with this pack. Cons then, got a couple of cons for the pack. First one is the weight. Okay, so this thing weighs 5 kilos empty. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight. Thing is, with all the functions and features and pouches you've got on this pack, you're not going to get away with making a pack like this at a lightweight, and also the 1000D nylon that it's made out of as well. You're not going to get both. You're not going to have the functions and features that are packed in plus the durability that the 1000D provides and make a lightweight pack. So, you know, it's pros and cons as to whether you want that, all those features, or you want a lightweight pack. But yeah, firstly, the weight of the pack. The second one is the belt. Okay, so this has got a really nice waist belt on it, okay, that is removable. But what I find with it is it rides pretty high. It rides kind of up here. It doesn't ride on my hips. And that's because this is a short back Bergen. And I'm only a short ass, I'm 5'8". But even for me, the waist belt on this isn't really a waist belt, it's more of a belly belt. You can kind of push it down a little bit and it does support the weight, but it's kind of a bit too high to be super effective. Okay, the third con I've got for this pack then is just how it kind of sits, how it rides on your back. Now, what I would say is, yeah, you're going to get away with it if you're only walking short distances or you're not carrying masses of weight. But if you are walking a long way with a lot of weight, this does kind of sag back a little bit on your back. And that's because it's kind of designed as a military pack to sit on top of belt kit, okay? So this would ride absolutely fine on top of belt kit, but if you're carrying it standalone on its own, it does feel like it's kind of sagging back a bit on your back. So that's my thoughts on the Kitpimp Pathfinder 2 Bergen then. What do you think? Has anyone out there own one of these? What's your thoughts on it? Personally, I think, well, it's proven to be pretty robust. It's absolutely great for organising your kit. It's got loads of great functions on it, and yeah, very robust go-to pack for doing stuff like bushcraft. But like I say, anyone out there, what's your experience with this? Has anyone experienced the Mark II version, this one that's been improved over the Mark I that had some teething problems? Okay, so big shout out to all my members that have joined my channel. Thanks a lot for supporting the channel. I'll put your names up here, and anyone wants to join my channel as a member, then just click on the memberships on my front page. It's £5, and basically I'll send you a patch. You'll get early access to videos, so you get shout outs on videos. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and as always, stay prepared.